It's taxiing towards the press that are waiting to see them both. I don't know if you can see the footage that we're showing to our viewers on Sky News. So it's just landed, and this appears to be that aircraft. How does it feel to see it making its way through the airport there?
It just feels like I just feel for them, for Peter and Barbie. They have such a deep love, and they deserve the whole world. And let this be the beginning of healing.
What
for
did
them, for their families, for the nations.
What did it feel like for you when you felt those tyres touch down and that kind of lurch in the seat, the kind of the pushback as the plane slowed down? How did that moment feel like for you when you were finally back in a safer country?
For me, it was very different. It was still heartbroken for the people I left behind. Now, seeing them landing, my heart just finally can be happy.
And Faye, do you hope that you might be able to spend time with Peter and Barbie again and at some point to reunite either in the UK where they're heading to next or in the US where you are?
Definitely. I actually can't wait to fly to UK to meet with them. And yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
What do you think those first words might be?
I think that love prevails. It's just gonna, I know they love me so much and I love them. We just
lost that connection there to Faye, who's joining us live from New York. We really appreciate you doing so. You were detained as well in Afghanistan, released in an effort also mediated by the Qataris, who have had long involvement as well with the situation with Barbie and Peter Reynolds, 76 and 80 years old respectively. And we can see here, Faye, the welcoming that is awaiting them in Doha. That is their daughter as well, their daughter who is there on the tarmac. That is a remarkable scene to see those clasped hands as she waits to see her mum and dad.
so good, so good. Wow.
Faye Hall, who was detained alongside Barbie Reynolds, as you see them walking down those steps, your thoughts at the moment?
I just, wow. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. Wow.
Also with us, Faye,
I'm just so happy.
Faye, we appreciate you sharing your time and joining us from New York. Also with us is Sally Lockwood, our correspondent, who is alongside this aircraft at the airport in Doha. Sally, let's just bring you in if we can. Tell us more. Tell us about the moments that are happening before us at the moment.
Yeah, I can't hear you over the sound of the engine, but I can make out that you have come to us. And yes, what a moment. Peter and Barbie Reynolds being greeted by their family here on the tarmac in Doha. A moment I imagine they felt might never happen, but here they are. Sarah, their daughter, hugging her father, Peter there. What a moment for them both. And there's Barbie in the red headscarf there as well. Sarah ran around with the officials to approach her mother first, and we just saw the joy on her face as she surprised her mother on the tarmac here. An extraordinary moment for this family who've been through so much after nearly 8 months in detention in Afghanistan. Peter and Barbie Reynolds are now in Qatar, reunited with some of their family members. Absolutely emotional scenes here in Doha, and certainly something that they said came together very quickly. They didn't expect this, and then they heard with very little notice that this was about to happen. And hopefully we'll soon learn a little bit more detail about how this came to pass, but the Qataris have certainly been absolutely integral in this whole process, in touch with the family for months, providing medical support, getting hold of medication for them, contacting their doctor, and also providing them with contact for their family. Let's see if we can get a word. Barbie. Clearly they'd rather be speaking to each other, which we fully understand, but we'll see if they want to say anything to us. No, we do think there's going to be a press conference inside very shortly where we will hear more from them. But what a moment there for Barbie and Peter Reynolds, who've devoted so much of their life to charitable work in Afghanistan and then found themselves arrested and in detention in Afghanistan for nearly 8 months, separated for most of it. And it sounds like the conditions they were kept in were extremely difficult. Let's see if we can get a word with them. Hello, Barbie. You're live on Sky News. Welcome to Doha. How does it feel?
Thank you. Wonderful to be here.
Would we prefer if we just let them be with their family?
We're being moved away here, which obviously we'll respect, and we will hear from them very shortly.
You're watching Sky News. It is just coming up to 10 to 5 local time in Doha, 10 to 3 here in London. We are watching live images being brought to us of Barbie and Peter Reynolds as they make those steps from the aircraft. This is Peter Reynolds alongside his daughter Sarah. As they
with his daughter Sarah
enter the terminal building. You can hear Sally Lockwood, who is on scene for us. Let's just hear a bit more from Sally, shall we? We're watching these live scenes from Doha. This is Peter Reynolds, 80 years old, alongside his daughter, who earlier today had thanked both the Qataris and the British government for their efforts in securing the freedom of her parents. We've also heard from their son, who is in Wyoming. And we're watching these live images. We're expecting some words to be made to the press, but those doors are just closed. So that looks as though those words are to come in due course. I also want to bring in who's been watching these images alongside us from New York, joining us live. I'm very grateful that you're doing so. Faye Hall, who was detained alongside Barbie Reynolds. They shared a single bed. They shared a cell together, and at one point with 5, 6, 7 other individuals. Faye, you've been watching these images, digesting and coming to terms with the news. How are you feeling as we re-see these images from a few moments ago?
Well, obviously it's overwhelming. It's overjoy, and but still, I know their work is now done, and there's so much we left behind, and they have they give all of themselves, their everything to that country. Now they're coming back just with nothing. We're thankful they're back, but we also remember all the people we left behind in Afghanistan, all the women that loved us, took care of us, and show us kindness. We'll always have them in our hearts.
And you talk about these other women that showed you kindness. Are these female Afghani detainees that you were detained alongside?
Yes, we were showing tremendous kindness among the Afghan people that we came encounter, and even the guards, they're actually very kind to us.
There had been lots of very understandable, very valid concerns about the health and well-being of Barbie and Peter. They are, at the end of the day, in their late 70s, and for Peter in his 80s. How do you feel they look as you see them today, compared to when you last saw Barbie, for example? How does she look to you?
She actually looked much better. I think in the last couple of weeks, the situation improved. But when I left, she was very skinny, very thin, barely can walk. I was really concerned. But thank God, both of them seem healthy, and I know they're gonna live a long, long life, and fruitful, productive life, and yes.
Their life for the last 18 years and their hearts for, let's be honest, I think their lifetimes have been devoted and dedicated to Afghanistan. Do you think they'll ever look to return? Do you think they'll want to return, considering everything that's happened since March?
Well, they have their beloved dogs there, and they have their beautiful house in the beautiful country in the highland of Bamyan. It's a stunning view if you ever see pictures of that place. And the people are just so caring, even under such a hardship. So I know they will love to go back, but I don't know if that's a reality. We don't know.
That might also be a tough conversation with their children.
Yes, like after I came out, I realized how much pain and trauma going through among the families. So I'm sure their families, their lives being put on hold, and they need a lot of healings at this moment as well.
We're talking from London and from New York as we watch scenes in Doha, and I can't help but think that we do still need to think of the experience of those people, those everyday Afghanis who still live and work under the Taliban authorities, and you know, within the last 24 hours or so, the news that books written by women removed from the shelves of libraries in Afghanistan, that continued erosion of the visibility of women within Afghani society as a result of the Taliban's rule of law. What do you make of what is going on in the country more broadly at the moment?
I think it's a really good gesture to release Peter and Barbie, even though none of us were ever charged. But you have to understand it's a very different system. It's a very different way of thinking. It's not just the government, even among the people. But but the women are definitely marginalized. We met people that have been in jail for a couple years without charge and have children there. But given the hardship, they always make such a good positive out of it. Like everyone just love each other, care about each other within a jail. So that was, there's always a bad and there's a good, and that's just everywhere. And we just have to continue pressing. And I just want to say thank you for all the government involved and to release Peter and Barbie. And thank you even Taliban, the Afghanistan government, to release them. We just have to continue our work.
Joining us live from New York, Faye Hall, appreciate you sharing your time with us today, this Friday. Thank you so much. Good to have you with us. Just hearing from the Taliban authorities, they have thanked the country of Qatar for mediation, as they say, which came with the British Special Representative Richard Lindsay and the British citizens that were handed over to him. They claim that Peter and Barbie Reynolds, this is the Taliban response, violated the laws of Afghanistan and that they were released from prison today after a judicial process. We have had no sign of visibility, no understanding as to the background to those claims, but we do know that Barbie and Peter Reynolds have landed safely in Doha. They were greeted warmly by their daughter, Sarah Entwistle, who ran over to give her mother a hug. There is Sarah, there is her father, Peter. We're expecting to hear more from them in the next few hours. We'll bring it to you, of course, here on Sky News.